Thanks for joining me. I've just got back from Molineux. I got a bit of a soaking as I was coming back, just to rub salt into the wounds. It's Saturday, the 20th of September 2025, and it finished Wolves 1, Leeds United 3. Don't worry, you won't get any hysterical, hyper emotional rants from me. But the first thing was the starting 11. There was 4 changes from last week. Because Jose Sarr was well again. Sam Johnston can consider himself a bit unfortunate to be dropped. So he started Sarr in goal, Agbadou, Mosquera, Totti Gomez, the 3 centre halves, Chachua, Rodrigo Gomez were the fullbacks. That's the first time that Chachua and Rodrigo Gomez have started in the same lineup, as far as I know. And in midfield were João Gomez and Krejci. Just behind the sole striker was Fer Lopez, who got his probably deserved first starting place, and there was John Rickner Bellegarde, and then up front was Tolu Arukadare. So it was a bit of a strange starting 11. You could say that it's quite obvious that Vitor is still trying to work out his strongest starting 11. He hasn't figured that out yet. But there was a time in the second half where the fans were singing, you don't know what you're doing," and I'm not sure whether that was aimed at our manager or the referee, but I think it was at the referee. But if the manager is just signed a 3-year contract in the week, and if this form continues, he's going to start coming under a bit of pressure. Before last week, when we lost 1-0 at Newcastle, in the entire history of the club, we'd never lost the first 4 games, and it's got even worse than that, because now we've lost the first 5, and the next game is next Saturday, the 27th at 8 p.m. Away at Tottenham, and I know they drew 2-2. I think it was at Brighton, but they've gone to Man City, who tonked us, and they've beaten them 2-0, and they're in Europe. So are we going to get anything there? Well, it's going to be a bit of a tough ask, but let's just hope that they've got a bit of distraction by Europe. But having said that, they've got a stronger squad than ours. The warning signs were there quite early, even before there were any goals, because they had a lot more energy than us. Because before today, Leeds they'd only scored 1 goal, none from open play. They'd got a penalty, and they're one of the teams that's going to be in a mini division, you feel, with us, because they've got 4 points and we'd got none. But now we're already 7 points behind them, and we're sitting at the bottom, and we're being cut adrift. Villa are just ahead of us with 2, but they've got a game away at Sunderland tomorrow, which is a massive game, because again, Sunderland could well be one of them teams that are fighting to stay up like us. On the substitute bench today, there was Arias, Hugo Bueno, Santiago Bueno, Hervé, Wang, Sam Johnson, Munetsi, Strand Larson, and Andre. But their left back, when it was still 0, they played a 1-2, and I think it was like a last-ditch block that saved us from possibly going 1-0 behind. But daft as it might seem, Leeds, they looked a lot better than us. They were passing the ball around us, and it was slightly against the run of play when we took the lead. After it was about 8 minutes possibly, but I was sitting in the stand cullis lower. It was a nice move. We passed the ball together, a few passes. Tolu laid it back to Fer Lopez, who did a nice, beautiful first-time ball into the path of Krejci, who ran in and finished it off to put us 1-0. But far from building on that, we sat back, allowed Leeds back into the game, and I said that they were the better team than us, which is a bit disturbing, because we played Newcastle away last week, and a creditable 1-0 defeat. But today, any optimism which we might have gained from last week was pretty much lost today, because the equaliser, it was a deflected cross. So I didn't come for it. None of our centre half did, and I think it was Dominic Calvert-Lewin who got in, and he got the equaliser. But yeah, I say Leeds, they had the majority of the possession in the first half. Yeah, Calvert-Lewin, he got the equaliser. Yeah, and then Stack, it was there was a foul. I didn't think it was a foul. The referee deemed it a foul, and Sarr, he's the one who's responsible for constructing his wall. I was right behind the shot, and it didn't go into the top corner, or it didn't swerve, or it didn't dip. It was just a straight shot which went in past Sarr, and you know, what can you say? Should the goalkeeper have got something behind it? Should he have saved it? But Leeds went in. Sorry, they went 2-1 ahead. And the third one, it was another case of deja vu. It was Agbadou again. He gave the ball away, and to their player who ran through. It was similar to the Man City, and they punished us. Who was it? Okafor, to make it 3-1 just on the break of half time. But yeah, the second half was a bit better. We dominated the possession, but we didn't really carve them up. The substitutions were a bit surprising. Well, say the possession, the stats were 55.6% to us, to 44.4 to them. At half time, I don't think it was like that, because they probably dominated the possession a bit. We had 16 shots to 6, 4 on target for them to 6 on target for us. So pretty much they scored with most of their chances, unlike us. And the substitution, I was surprised that Rodrigo Gomez was taken off, because he was full of energy. I was surprised that Agbadou stayed on. Who else was there? We made all the substitution. Hugo Bueno, who was unlucky not to start, he was taken off. I don't think that Chachua did all that much. A bright spark was Ladislav Krejci. He took his goal well. He played well. When he dropped into the middle of defence, he looked solid. There was who else was there? Bright spot. Rodrigo Gomez was full of energy, and again, I'll say I was surprised when he was taken off. Andre didn't start. Monetti, when he came on, he got on the end of about three headers from crosses, and he had another shot as well. Arakadare had a header, went close in the first half. Injury time, just after he'd given away the third goal, Agbadou had a header from a corner which forced a save from their keeper. But are we going to be this season's Southampton's, the whipping boys? From what we've seen so far, it's not looking good, and it's not getting easier. Southampton, we could be ending up like Southampton, because we played 5, we got no points, and we haven't looked like winning yet. But where do we go from here? We've got Everton at home in the Carabao Cup. Maybe we can get some confidence, much needed confidence, by a victory there, but that's not a given, because in our last league game they beat us 3-2 at Molineux, even though they subsequently said that we should have had a penalty and they made a mistake in not giving us, and Rodrigo Gomez might have had a last-ditch equaliser. But we're on a losing streak, and we need to turn that around as soon as we can. How long do they give the manager? Is it going to be another last season when Gary O'Neill, he just signed a 4-year contract, and then he was out just after or just before Christmas? But yeah, it's looking worrying. The manager doesn't know what his strongest starting 11 is. Our defence is looking leaky. We've let in 12 goals in 5 games, which is over 2 a game. And as I said, the bright spots for me were Krejci. He looked good in midfield. He looked good when he dropped back in defence. Rodrigo Gomez but again, the manager saw fit to take him off at half time. But let me know what you think. But whatever happens, we'll still keep supporting the Wolves. But it finished here. Wolves 1, Leeds 3. And thanks for joining me. Up the Wolves.